When you grip too tightly, even water slips through your fingers. It's a question that haunts countless minds. Why does showing genuine care often lead to someone pulling away? You offer your time, your energy, and your affection, yet instead of fostering connection, it seems to create distance. The harder you try, the more elusive they become. At first glance, it feels cruel and inexplicable, but what if this behavior has less to do with rejection and more to do with human psychology? The truth is, relationships are not just built on feelings, but on subtle power dynamics, emotional balance, and the perception of value. Unpacking these layers requires us to dive into the powerful, and sometimes misunderstood, philosophies of Stoicism and dark psychology. The contradiction of interest, a delicate dance. Picture this: a flower bathed in sunlight is vibrant and alive, but overexposure to the same light can scorch it. Relationships mirror this paradox. Too much attention too soon can overwhelm rather than nurture. What feels like affection to you can come across as neediness, or even emotional dependence, to the other person. Psychologists call this the value principle. Humans are drawn to what they perceive as valuable and scarce. When you make yourself overly available, constantly seeking connection, you may unintentionally diminish your own perceived worth. What's freely given is often undervalued. Seneca once remarked, "Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life." In the context of relationships, this reminds us to nurture our own independence and passions, rather than tying our existence to someone else's response. Attachment, when care turns into pressure. Imagine carrying a fragile vase filled with water. If you hold it with balance and grace, it stays intact, but clutch it too tightly, fearing it might fall, and you risk shattering it. This is the dynamic of over-attachment in relationships. When you pour all your emotional energy into another person, it can feel suffocating. Constant texting, overanalyzing their responses, or sacrificing your own boundaries sends an unspoken signal: your validation defines my worth. Ironically, this behavior can repel the very person you're trying to draw closer. In Stoic thought, the answer lies in detachment. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. To maintain healthy relationships, you must master your emotions and create space for mutual respect. The power of space, why less commanding presence wins. Imagine standing before a breathtaking mountain range. Its majesty isn't just in its towering peaks, but in the vast expanse of sky, high and open land surrounding it. Without space, even the most magnificent sights lose their impact. The same principle applies to relationships. Space isn't absence, it's what gives meaning, depth, and allure. Closeness without breathing room creates suffocation, not connection. When your world revolves entirely around one person, your presence can shift from captivating to confining. Desire cannot survive captivity. People are naturally drawn to what allows them to experience freedom while feeling emotionally connected. Stop bombarding them with attention, validation-seeking messages, or over-explaining your feelings. Magnetism comes from balance, from knowing when to lean in and when to let life unfold on its own terms. Focus on building a life that excites you, your passions, your ambitions, your unique journey. A fulfilled life radiates undeniable energy, making you someone worth chasing. This isn't about playing games or acting distant, it's about embodying confidence and individuality. You are the architect of your story. When you master the art of giving space, you transform from someone seeking attention into someone who naturally commands it. Remember, the less you chase, the more they lean in. Your worth isn't found in how often you're in their thoughts, it's in how strong and whole you remain when they're not. Be the mountain, not the storm chasing it. Why emotional stability is magnetic. Relationships, at their core, are emotional exchanges. People remember not just what you say or do, but how you make them feel. Are you creating a sense of calm and safety, or does your presence bring anxiety and pressure? Think of a tree in the wind. It bends but doesn't break, its roots remain grounded, providing strength and stability. You, too, can embody this energy in your relationships. When you are secure and composed, it communicates self-worth and resilience, qualities others find irresistibly attractive. Epictetus advised, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it, that matters." By mastering your emotional responses, you project a sense of calm independence, making your presence something others crave rather than avoid. Imagine unwrapping a gift that reveals all its surprises in one go. The excitement fades quickly, but a carefully layered gift, revealing itself over time, keeps you engaged and curious. This principle applies to relationships. You don't need to withhold who you are, but allowing others to discover you naturally creates intrigue. Share your thoughts, dreams, and feelings gradually, rather than overwhelming the connection with everything at once. Mystery isn't about deception, it's about pacing. When someone feels there's more to learn about you, they're drawn to keep exploring. The key is to balance openness with restraint, fostering curiosity without being overly guarded. Ultimately, relationships are about balance. They flourish when both partners bring their whole selves to the table. By grounding yourself in Stoic principles, emotional regulation, detachment, and self-respect, you cultivate an energy that others find compelling. Ask yourself, what would happen if you stopped chasing and started valuing yourself? When you focus on your own passions and growth, you transform from someone seeking attention to someone who naturally commands it. The path forward is not about withholding love or affection, but about offering it from a place of strength and independence. When you are complete within yourself, your presence becomes a gift rather than a demand. Remember, the best relationships are not built on dependence, but on shared respect and mutual curiosity. By embodying this philosophy, you'll not only understand why they pull away, but also discover how to create connections that are meaningful, fulfilling, and lasting. So, what about you? Are you ready to reclaim your power in relationships? Affirmations rewire your mind for strength, self-worth, and emotional balance, reminding you of the power you already possess. Here is your affirmation: I am worthy of love and respect, rooted in my strength and unshaken by others' actions. Drop this affirmation in the comments to affirm your commitment to embracing your inner power and self-worth. If this message resonated with you, like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're dedicated to creating meaningful content to help you grow, and your support inspires us to keep delivering powerful insights. Let's rise together. Number 1. Don't set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. Have you ever lit a candle, only to watch it burn away completely in the service of someone else's life? Relationships often feel like that, like you're giving everything, burning through your energy, emotions, and time, just to keep someone else comfortable. But here's the hard truth: if you keep setting yourself on fire to keep someone else warm, all that's left in the end is ash. When you pour every ounce of yourself into someone who doesn't reciprocate, you're not building a connection, you're building a pattern of self-abandonment. Love should feel like a shared flame, where two people contribute equally to the warmth. Yet, when you make their approval the center of your world, you risk losing the most vital connection of all, the one you have with yourself. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, a person who values themselves above all else is never diminished by the actions of another. Picture a flower growing in the shade of a massive tree. No matter how much it stretches, no matter how deeply it roots itself, the tree blocks its light. Eventually, that flower wilts. Relationships can feel like this when you give and give, hoping your efforts will be noticed, but instead, you're left overshadowed and unseen. To flourish, you need to seek sunlight, not by chasing it, but by standing in places where it naturally shines on you. When you sacrifice your needs for someone else's comfort, you send a message, intentionally or not, that your needs don't matter. This kind of self-sacrifice might feel noble in the moment, but over time, it chips away at your self-worth. You start to feel invisible, not because you're unworthy, but because you've made yourself so readily available that your presence is taken for granted. Love doesn't grow from martyrdom, it thrives in mutual respect. Think of your energy like water in a glass. If you pour everything out for someone else without replenishing it, soon there's nothing left to give. You'll find yourself drained, exhausted, and unfulfilled, while the other person may not even notice what it cost you. But when you keep your glass full, you don't just nourish yourself, you inspire others to bring their own water to the table. This is how true partnerships are built, not through over-sacrifice, but through balance. In relationships, it's natural to want to give, to care, to nurture. But it's also essential to recognize when your giving crosses the line into losing yourself. Showing interest in someone doesn't mean abandoning your boundaries or neglecting your own happiness. The Stoics teach us that the most profound strength comes from self-mastery. As Epictetus said, it is impossible to begin to learn that which you think you already know. In the context of relationships, this means reflecting on where you're overgiving and learning to honor your needs without guilt. Imagine standing on the shore of a vast ocean. You hold a lifeboat, waiting for someone else to climb in, hoping they'll see your effort and stay. But instead of rowing with you, they sit back, letting you do all the work. Before long, your arms are tired, the boat drifts aimlessly, and you're left wondering why they don't appreciate all you've done. The lesson here is simple. You can't row someone else's boat while keeping your own journey on course. When someone begins to pull away despite your efforts, resist the urge to chase harder. Instead, turn inward, invest in your passions, pursue your goals, and cultivate the parts of your life that make you unique. When you do, you stop being someone who seeks approval and become someone whose energy and confidence naturally attract others. Strength is magnetic, and nothing is more attractive than someone who knows their worth and refuses to settle for less. So, what's the way forward? Start by putting yourself first, not in a selfish way, but in a way that honors your value. Make your time and energy sacred, and watch how the right people are drawn to the glow of your self-respect. Those who truly value you won't need you to burn yourself out to prove your love, they'll meet you in the warmth of mutual effort. Here's your affirmation: I honor my needs and my worth in every connection I build. Write this in the comments below to affirm your commitment to yourself and to creating relationships that are balanced and fulfilling. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're here to bring you life-changing lessons and insights, and your support helps us continue to create meaningful content that empowers and inspires. Stay strong, stay grounded, and remember, you deserve love that lifts you, not love that drains you. Number 2. A locked door is more intriguing than an open window. Have you ever been captivated by something you couldn't have? Think back to a time when something was just out of reach, and the more you tried to approach it, the more it seemed to elude you. That feeling, the one where your curiosity grows stronger the more something remains just beyond your grasp, is not just a fleeting emotion. It's deeply rooted in human nature. We're naturally drawn to what we can't immediately possess, to what feels mysterious, and to what requires effort to access. It's the paradox of attraction: the more you chase something, the more it seems to run from you. The principle behind this is simple but profound, and it holds a key to understanding why relationships can sometimes feel distant despite your best efforts. In relationships, the more you give yourself away, exposing all of your thoughts, feelings, and desires, the less mysterious you become. It's like opening a window and offering the world a full view of your heart. While transparency is important, when everything is laid bare too quickly, you remove the very thing that makes you intriguing. People are drawn to what requires a little effort to unlock, not to what is freely given without a second thought. Just like a locked door, you become more enticing when there's an air of mystery about you. When you hold some things back and leave room for curiosity to blossom, in Stoic philosophy, there's a concept of emotional self-control and detachment that mirrors this idea. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any time." What does this mean in the context of relationships? It suggests that you don't need to give away every part of yourself or give up your emotional power just to get someone's attention. The more you withhold from others, not out of manipulation, but out of self-respect, the more they will wonder about you, and the more they will be inclined to chase what you hold dear. This isn't about playing games or being deceitful, it's about maintaining your boundaries and personal autonomy. Imagine you're standing in front of a beautiful, mysterious mansion. The door is locked, but you can see flickers of movement inside, a light here, a shadow there. There's an allure in the unknown, in what isn't instantly accessible. It invites questions. it sparks the imagination. When you give someone just enough to intrigue them, but not enough to satisfy their curiosity entirely, you allow them to want more. You turn from a predictable, open book into a mystery they're eager to solve. This approach to relationships isn't about withholding affection or love, it's about understanding that the best connections are built not on constant availability but on a balance of giving and reserving parts of yourself. Think of it like a dance. If you constantly lead, without letting the other person take a step, the rhythm is lost. But when both partners contribute their energy in a measured, respectful way, the connection becomes more fluid and dynamic. A partner who is constantly available loses their allure because there's no challenge, no reason for the other person to invest in the relationship. But a partner who maintains their own life, their passions, and their sense of independence, this is the kind of energy that sparks attraction and respect. In relationships, especially the early stages, you want to be the kind of person who leaves space for curiosity. You don't need to tell them everything about your past or every single thought that crosses your mind. There's beauty in the slow unveiling. A relationship that's built on constant exposure is like a book that's read in one sitting, the story is over too quickly. But a relationship that allows for gradual discovery is like a great novel. You can revisit it time and time again, each time finding something new. It's not about being distant or cold, it's about keeping a part of yourself that's just for you, cultivating your own life and passions, and letting your partner slowly discover all that you bring to the table. This dynamic is part of why some relationships, no matter how much you give, can feel like they're slipping through your fingers. The more you show, the less they want. But when you stand firm in your boundaries, in your life outside of them, and in your self-respect, they begin to see you in a different light. You stop being the person who is always there, always giving, and start becoming someone who is admired for their mystery, their confidence, and their inner strength. The beauty of this approach is that it aligns perfectly with Stoic teachings on emotional mastery and detachment. When you let go of the need for constant validation, you empower yourself to be the architect of your own life and energy. As Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. In the context of relationships, wealth consists not in needing constant attention, but in needing little from others to feel whole. When you stop chasing, they'll start chasing you. So, what can you do today? Start by embracing the locked door approach in your relationships. Be the person who remains a little mysterious, a little independent, and a little untouchable. Focus on your passions, your growth, and your life outside of them. And remember, the more you stand in your own power, the more attractive you become. Here's your affirmation: I am a mystery worth discovering, and my worth is not for sale. Drop this in the comments to affirm your commitment to cultivating your own life and attracting the right kind of energy into your relationships. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working hard to bring you insights that can transform your life, and your support helps us continue creating these life-changing lessons. Number 3, water the roots, not the leaves. Have you ever tried to nurture a plant by constantly watering its leaves? At first, it seems like the right thing to do. After all, the leaves are the most visible part. But despite your best efforts, the plant doesn't thrive. In fact, it starts to wilt, wither, and even die. The truth is, the roots are what need the attention. Without a solid foundation, the leaves can never flourish. Relationships work the same way. When you focus only on the surface, the small gestures, the constant attention, the need for immediate validation, you're watering the leaves. But to truly build something strong and lasting, you must water the roots. In relationships, the roots are the core elements: trust, respect, independence, and emotional strength. These are the foundations that hold everything together. When you pour all your energy into superficial attention, constantly giving without nurturing these deeper connections, you risk creating a fragile bond. The leaves may look beautiful in the short term, but without strong roots, they will eventually fall off. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, said, "What we do now echoes in eternity." This wisdom reminds us that the effort we put into building a relationship today affects its future. If you invest in the right things, the roots, you create the space for something meaningful to grow. But if you pour all your energy into fleeting gestures, you're just tending to the leaves. The result? A relationship that looks good on the surface but lacks the depth to withstand life's challenges. Think of a tree. Its strength doesn't come from its branches or leaves, it comes from deep underground, where the roots anchor it to the earth. Without roots, the tree would topple in the first strong wind. In the same way, the strength of your relationship lies not in the constant seeking of attention, the texts that flood their phone, or the continuous validation you provide. It lies in the emotional stability, the respect for each other's space, and the ability to maintain your individual growth. These are the deep roots that create a lasting bond. When you focus on nourishing these, the leaves, your outward affection and gestures, will naturally flourish. This idea is reflected in the powerful words of Epictetus: "No man is free who is not master of himself." When you master your own emotions, desires, and boundaries, you become someone who is not dependent on the validation of others. This strength is magnetic. In relationships, being able to maintain your independence while also nurturing mutual respect is the root of attraction. It's not about drowning the other person with constant affection, but rather allowing them to see your strength, your confidence, and your unique path in life. That, in turn, attracts them more than any flood of attention could. Imagine you're walking through a dense forest. The trees around you are tall and magnificent, but what makes them stand out isn't their outward appearance, it's their age and the deep roots they've developed over time. The tree that has grown in the wild, slowly and steadily, is far more awe-inspiring than the one that was constantly pruned, constantly shaped, and constantly manipulated. In relationships, the same holds true. The more you focus on your emotional stability, your growth, and your ability to maintain your boundaries, the more you become a force to be reckoned with. You become someone who stands tall, whose presence commands respect, not someone whose energy is spent on trying to impress or chase after fleeting affection. You don't need to chase the leaves, you need to focus on what's beneath the surface, the roots. This is where your real power lies. When you focus on your own development, your own emotional resilience, and your own sense of self-worth, you become more attractive in a way that's sustainable. The constant seeking of attention, the overwhelming gestures, and the effort to make someone notice you often create an imbalance in the relationship, where your worth becomes tied to their response. But when you nurture your roots, your worth doesn't depend on anyone else's validation, and that is what truly attracts a partner who is worthy of you. The more you focus on growing your own life, pursuing your passions, developing your emotional intelligence, and building your independence, the more you naturally attract someone who is aligned with your journey. You stop chasing, and instead, you start growing. And as you grow, the right people will be drawn to the energy you exude. You'll no longer be the one seeking validation, you'll be the one who commands it. So, the next time you find yourself overwhelmed with the urge to constantly give, stop and ask yourself, are you watering the leaves or the roots? Are you building a relationship based on surface-level gestures, or are you cultivating something deeper, something that can stand the test of time? Here's your affirmation. I invest in the roots of my relationships, not just the leaves. Write this in the comments to affirm your commitment to cultivating strong, lasting bonds built on trust, respect, and emotional strength. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working hard to create life-changing content, and your support helps us continue to bring you powerful motivational lessons. Stay grounded, stay strong, and remember, the roots you water today will grow into something powerful tomorrow. Number 4. Don't chase the wind, be the storm. Have you ever watched the wind scatter leaves and wished you could catch it? No matter how fast you run or how hard you try, the wind always slips through your fingers. It's elusive, free, and never willing to be controlled. Yet we often find ourselves doing exactly that in relationships, chasing after someone who seems as untouchable as the wind, trying to force a connection that's simply not meant to be captured. But here's a truth you must face. When you chase the wind, you only exhaust yourself. The real power lies not in the pursuit, but in the quiet, yet undeniable force you create when you stand still and own your own energy. In relationships, we often find ourselves pouring all our energy into someone, seeking their validation, their affection, their attention. We give, and give, but the more we chase, the more distant they become. Why is that? The answer lies in the imbalance of power. The more you chase, the less they value you. They start to see you as someone desperate for their approval, someone willing to bend over backward for their affection. But the truth is, you are not the wind, you are the storm. A storm doesn't chase anything, it simply is. It comes with raw power, presence, and intensity. It demands attention, not by seeking it, but by commanding it. In the world of Stoic philosophy, we are reminded of our inherent power and value. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. When it comes to relationships, this couldn't be more true. The moment you stop chasing someone else's affection and start embracing your own worth, you begin to radiate a magnetic force that draws others to you. But this requires a shift in mindset. Instead of constantly seeking validation from your partner, focus on being the best version of yourself. Be the storm that moves the air, not the one chasing it. Imagine this: you are the storm, strong, focused, and unapologetic. When a storm rolls in, everything around it changes. The trees bend, the winds howl, and the world takes notice. But the storm doesn't need to chase anything, it moves on its own terms, and in doing so, it commands respect. Now, think of your own relationships. When you stop chasing approval and validation, you start embodying that same powerful energy. You stop seeking to please or impress and instead become someone whose presence is impossible to ignore. You create an aura that draws people in without ever having to ask for it. This is where emotional mastery comes in. When you know who you are, when you're grounded in your own values and passions, you stop chasing after what isn't meant for you. You no longer feel the need to earn someone's affection. Instead, you live your life with confidence and purpose. The right people will naturally be drawn to that energy, and the ones who don't recognize your worth will drift away. But here's the key: you will not chase them. Think about a lighthouse in the distance. It stands tall, steady, and unwavering. Ships are drawn to it because they know it's a guiding light, a beacon of safety. The lighthouse never chases the ships, it simply stands its ground, offering direction and security. You, too, must become that lighthouse in your relationships. When you stand firm in your own value, others will seek you out, they'll be drawn to your emotional stability, your self-sufficiency, and the magnetic strength that comes from knowing your own worth. When you stop chasing, the energy shifts. Relationships transform. No longer are you desperately seeking someone's attention, instead, you attract the right people who value you for exactly who you are. The people who are meant to be with you will recognize your strength and be drawn to it. Remember, the more you chase, the further away you push. But when you stand tall, like the storm, you become something that cannot be ignored. Here's your affirmation: I am the storm. I don't need to chase the wind. Write this in the comments below to affirm your commitment to stepping into your power and letting your energy speak for itself. If this message resonated with you, like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to create meaningful content that can transform your relationships and your life. Your support helps us continue to bring you powerful lessons that will shape your future. Stay strong, stay grounded, and remember, you are the storm that commands the wind, not the one that chases it. Number 5, stop handing out discounts on your value. Have you ever felt like you were offering everything you had, only to realize the more you gave, the less you seem to get in return? It's like you're handing out discounts on your worth, lowering the price of your value just to get someone's attention or affection. But here's the harsh truth: the moment you discount your value, you lose the very essence of what makes you irresistible. Imagine this: you're a rare, precious gem, gleaming in the sunlight, radiating beauty and strength. Now, picture yourself slashing the price of that gem just to make it more appealing to someone who doesn't recognize its true worth. The more you lower that price, the less it shines, and eventually, it becomes just another stone in a pile of ordinary rocks. When you reduce your value to chase someone, you're not only devaluing yourself, you're teaching them that you don't believe in your own worth. Seneca once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." In relationships, this translates to a simple yet profound idea: when you stop seeking validation from others, when you stop overextending yourself just to be noticed, you start commanding respect. You are not a commodity to be bargained for, you are a unique individual, deserving of reciprocal love and respect. When you lower your standards and give too much too easily, you rob yourself of the mystery and allure that attract others in the first place. Think of your energy and affection as a luxury item. It should be valued, not given away for free. When you're constantly chasing approval, texting first, or sacrificing your needs, you send a signal: "I'm not valuable enough to be pursued." But when you recognize your worth, you stop handing out discounts. You stop offering endless validation without receiving it in return. Instead, you become the person who draws people in with confidence, self-respect, and an understanding that your value is non-negotiable. Remember, relationships are about balance. When you stop chasing, you create space for the other person to invest in you. You become a person of mystery and intrigue, not because you withhold love, but because you protect your energy and give it only to those who truly deserve it. Now, let's shift the dynamic. Repeat after me: I am priceless, and I never discount my worth. Drop this affirmation in the comments to affirm your commitment to valuing yourself fully. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to create powerful, life-changing content to help you elevate your relationships and mindset. Stay strong, stay grounded, your worth is beyond measure. Number 6, don't drown them with waves, be the calm in their storm. Have you ever been caught in the whirlwind of your emotions, desperately trying to keep a connection alive, only to find the other person slipping away? It's a familiar feeling for many, showing too much emotion, too much attention, and in doing so, overwhelming the very person you want to draw closer. This paradox is at the heart of why relationships sometimes falter, despite offering endless validation without receiving it in return. Instead, you become the person who draws people in with confidence, self-respect, and an understanding that your value is non-negotiable. Remember, relationships are about balance. When you stop chasing, you create space for the other person to invest in you. You become a person of mystery and intrigue, not because you withhold love, but because you protect your energy and give it only to those who truly deserve it. Now, let's shift the dynamic. Repeat after me: I am priceless, and I never discount my worth. Drop this affirmation in the comments to affirm your commitment to valuing yourself fully. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to create powerful, life-changing content to help you elevate your relationships and mindset. Stay strong, stay grounded, your worth is beyond measure. Number 6, don't drown them with waves, be the calm in their storm. Have you ever been caught in the whirlwind of your emotions, desperately trying to keep a connection alive, only to find the other person slipping away? It's a familiar feeling for many, showing too much emotion, too much attention, and in doing so, overwhelming the very person you want to draw closer. This paradox is at the heart of why relationships sometimes falter, despite our best efforts. The key isn't in the intensity of the storm you create, but in how you can be the calm within it. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a vast ocean. The waves are crashing violently, pushing and pulling you in all directions. Now picture a lighthouse standing tall amidst that chaos, steady, unwavering, and offering a sense of direction in the midst of turmoil. This lighthouse represents the calm in the storm. In relationships, your emotional stability acts as the lighthouse, guiding and grounding, rather than becoming just another force of nature to be reckoned with. When you become the emotional storm, overwhelming your partner with constant validation seeking, excessive texting, or constant need for reassurance, you risk drowning the connection in emotional turbulence. In Stoic philosophy, emotional mastery is key. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." If you can maintain your emotional steadiness, you stop relying on the unpredictable whims of others to define your worth. Instead, you become the source of calm, the one who provides peace without chaos. Think of a person drowning in a storm at sea. What they need isn't another wave crashing over them, but a lifeboat, a steady, calming presence that can keep them afloat. Similarly, when you allow your partner the space to breathe, free from the pressure of your emotional dependency, you make them feel secure and valued. This sense of calm is magnetic. It's this balance, knowing when to lean in and when to stand firm, that will attract the kind of relationship where both people thrive. In relationships, remember, it's not about constantly chasing validation or drowning your partner in your emotions. Instead, be the calm force that brings peace, emotional stability, and space for mutual respect. By mastering your emotions, you embody the strength of the Stoics and attract the kind of love that doesn't require constant effort to keep afloat. Here's your affirmation: I am the calm in the storm, grounded in my strength and emotional stability. Drop this affirmation in the comments to affirm your commitment to being a steady and powerful presence in your relationships. If this message resonated with you, like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're working hard to create lessons that help you grow, and your support inspires us to continue delivering powerful, life-changing insights. Let's rise together. Number 7. Be the lighthouse, not the lifeboat. Have you ever wondered why, despite your best efforts, someone seems to pull away when you give them too much? It's like you're offering your heart, your time, and your energy on a silver platter, but they seem to float further from you instead of closer. The truth is, when you become a lifeboat, constantly saving, constantly giving, your energy becomes a crutch rather than a catalyst for connection. In relationships, just as in life, you are better off being the lighthouse, standing firm and strong, offering guidance and light from a place of stability. The lifeboat is always there, ready to rescue, but it requires constant energy to keep afloat. It's a symbol of dependency, of self-sacrifice, that leaves you drained, while the other person, like a passive passenger, remains untouched by your efforts. On the other hand, the lighthouse stands tall and unmoving, offering its light to those who need it, without chasing or drowning anyone in its glow. It does not force others to rely on it, but it commands attention simply by being a constant, unwavering presence. As the Stoics believed, true strength comes from self-mastery, not from pouring all your energy into others. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the greatest wealth is to live content with little. In relationships, the wealth of attraction comes from standing in your own power, without chasing validation or approval. When you are secure in who you are, others will naturally be drawn to you, not because you're desperate for their attention, but because you radiate calm, confidence, and stability. Picture this: a storm rages on the sea, the waves crashing, and the winds howling. The lifeboat, though well-meaning, can only offer temporary refuge, constantly at the mercy of the storm. But the lighthouse remains strong and unyielding, its light cutting through the chaos, offering direction and clarity. The storm may come, but the lighthouse remains unmoved, its presence becoming more powerful in the chaos. In relationships, you don't need to be the lifeboat, always bailing out others, constantly seeking approval or affection. Instead, be the lighthouse, anchored in your own sense of self, guiding the right people toward you without ever compromising your own strength. When you stop chasing, you start attracting. Affirmation: I stand strong in my power and attract those who respect my worth. Write this affirmation in the comments to commit to embodying your inner strength in all your relationships. If this message resonated with you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to create meaningful, life-changing content, and your support helps us continue delivering these powerful lessons. Stay strong, stay grounded, and remember,